Hello, my name is Kyle Kurtz, and I am a student with Fort Hays State University. For my presentation, I chose octopus energy because renewable energy and anything to do with it is very interesting to me. And the idea of an industry disruptor to begin with is incredibly interesting. The idea that older and entrenched companies are less likely to innovate in ways that changes the entire industry makes sense because for these older companies, change often brings additional cost and manpower shifts that they are not interested in. So it's these newer companies coming in that often have fresh ideas and fresh ways to approach things. So, to begin with, I'm going to talk a bit about the background of the electricity industry. Electricity impacts every single aspect of our lives nowadays, from the alarm clock that wakes you up in the morning, to the food that we eat, to things like the computers that we do assignments on to earn our college degrees, and the shows we watch at the end of the day to relax. None of these things would be possible at the scale that we have now without electricity. So electricity itself has always been around, but it was discovered by humans in 1752. And it was not until 1882 that Thomas Edison began designing stations that were capable of powering multiple buildings. An interesting fact about this first station in New York, it actually ended up burning down due to an accident. However, it was so wildly successful at the time that people still began implementing them all over the place because everyone was able to very clearly see the benefit of having electricity for business and home use. Over time, different sources of energy such as coal have been used to generate electricity, with petroleum and natural gas today being the two most prevalent sources. The industry at large is always seeking ways to lower the cost and associated workload with gathering resources to create energy so it can provide the best value to consumers. And arguably, when we spend less energy acquiring sources of electricity, we also create less waste and pollution. So, Octopus Energy, the origin of the organization, it was founded in 2015 in the United Kingdom by a group known as Octopus Group, which, despite sounding like an evil organization in the James Bond universe, was mostly made up of entrepreneurs and investors who were interested in clean energy initiatives and finding ways to use technology to distribute clean energy in ways that hadn't been done before. So not simply creating clean energy, but finding ways to distribute it to people and make it more accessible. In 2020, it debuted in the United States in the state of Texas by acquiring an existing company known as Evolve Energy. Octopus Energy picked this state because Texas is very large and it has a lot of sunlight, it has a lot of wind, so it's an attractive option for companies looking to produce clean energy. So an obvious question with Octopus Energy is how it works and what makes it different than existing companies that may say that they offer clean energy initiatives. So it disrupts the market by being more than simply an energy company. And I mentioned that before in my previous slides, but most energy companies simply seek ways to produce electricity and then a different company will actually sell it to users. Octopus Energy merges 10 different companies across 4 continents, and it seeks to maximize the collection and output of renewable energy sources. And it does this by managing its own IT infrastructure, doing things like offering a smart thermometer to users. It actually has its own cloud-based network that controls energy distribution over a large area. So as you may know, at certain times, certain areas may have higher energy needs than others. So in the middle of the night, most people are sleeping, most businesses are closed, the energy distribution goes down. So it can actually use the cloud-based network to control where energy is going to not waste any resources. And then it even has things such as electric vehicle smart charging, and I had to look into that a little bit, but with the electric vehicle smart charging, depending on when you charge your vehicle, you could be more energy efficient throughout the day. So by signing up for their program, they actually tell you when it is most beneficial to charge a vehicle, and you can save money by charging it at certain times rather than when it's most convenient for you. And it's an option rather than a necessity. So you have the option to save money if you're able. However, if you can't, you charge your car whenever's best for you. So that's an example of how Octopus Energy saves money for consumers without impacting their quality of life. And it does this through a multidisciplinary and layered approach through these different companies. So with so many options out there, you may wonder, why should you choose Octopus Energy? And some of the things that we're able to find were the company plans to invest $2 billion in renewable energy over the next 5 years. So rather than waiting for these initiatives and this technology to come to them, they're actively seeking ways to improve power distribution and creation. It seeks to offer renewable energy at an affordable rate that has no consequence on the user's quality of life. So as I mentioned, things like a smart thermostat is going to offer you options to save electricity. However, it's not going to force you to change your power. It's just going to offer recommendations to be the most energy efficient. And then it has its own think tank called the Hatchery, which I thought was pretty interesting, being named Octopus, where workers are constantly seeking to discover and innovate on new problems that face the energy industry. Lastly, you have some of my references here. Feel free to peruse them. And I just want to say thank you for your time, and I hope you all have a great day.